We talked to Pat from So Southern, and if you really want to find out about how to make your saddle pads, your wraps, the things for your horse look beautiful at a show, this is the podcast to listen to.
Not only did we talk about saddle pads, we also talked about starting a business, growing a business, and women entrepreneurship.
Don't miss this podcast.
As soon as the screen came on and I saw your machines, I said, look at those machines. And Gretchen's like, what are those? And she's like, I think they're medical machines.
I just saw the screen. I was like, is that medical equipment?
Finished one pad. So that's a brother. It's not, I don't think that these particular machines are not the top machines to buy for embroidery, but I love them. I've started with the one, and it's very user friendly. These machines run about $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know the upkeep, it stitches about 1,000 stitches a minute.
Wow.
And then depending on what I do, I really could slow it down if the pattern is quite complicated, and it's, so it really depends. It's got 6 needles, so I can do 6 different colors at one time without having to change the bobbins. And then I have over, I would say at least 1,500 different thread colors.
Let's show this beautiful example. Yeah. Let's hold this up, Kristen.
Yeah.
Girls, this gorgeous example of a saddle pad that you did for us with the Ramm logo on it that is absolutely gorgeous. The saddle pad is just beautiful. It's outstanding.
Thank you.
The logo is beautiful. So we can't thank you enough. Yes.
Of course. Well, you know what I was telling Ida, which I really appreciated you being so flexible. You really want to utilize as much real estate on the pad as possible, because you really want to see your logo or your design seen from afar.
Right.
I normally never go above and beyond 5 inches wide. I might at times do 5 1/4, maybe 5 1/2, but I really don't want to go beyond that. Only because, depending on where you place your logo, you don't want your leg to cover it. And you don't want it to look also too, after a while it looks a little bit too gaudy. I don't know if that's the right word, but you want it to stand out, and classy and whatnot. And what I had suggested, because your logo was more horizontal, is I really wanted to have more height to it. So that's why I asked if I could just change it up a little bit, so the horse's head would be, and the barn would primarily be on the top with the fence, and then your name on the bottom. So it's just a great way, when you'll be in the arena, that people will be able to see your logo very clearly without, having to squint their eyes. And that's ultimately what you want. So, I love that. I actually love that trim too. They call it tan, but it has a little bit of a gold to it.
It does.
It's a really, and Wilkers, you cannot go wrong with Wilkers. When I was riding, I've had my pad for 10 years. And as long as you don't bleach your pads to death, you're good to go. Because when you start using bleach on your pads, you start to break down the foam in the inside. And then trim will start to really become quite pale, and the color will change, and it just looks horrible. So, but I do have a customer, what she does is she puts Scotch Guard, believe it or not, where her leg would be, where the girth is.
Okay.
And she puts Scotch Guard on there, and then she'll let it dry, and then she'll go ride and do her thing. And then when she washes it, apparently there's no stain on it.
Wow, that's
You
a
know,
good
if you
tip.
do that- yeah, I mean, I've never done it, but she swears by it, and she knows she's been my customer since the very beginning. So I always tell my customers to do that.
Is there a particular wash that your customers use with their saddle pads that you like or that they have told you that they like?
No, you know what? I always say do you know the spray and wash if you will have a bit of a stain somewhere that and take a little bit of a toothbrush and just scrub it a little bit and then leave it there for about 10 minutes. What I do tell my customers though, whatever soap that you use white vinegar for your rinse because that really takes out all of the soap and whatever you've put on your pad so that when you put it on your horse again, your horse won't be irritated by the soap.
Nice.
That you put on there. So I'm a big fan of white vinegar.
Okay. My mom had her little like area set up in her laundry room where she had her little bit of bleach or her vinegar or her spray and wash and whatever and her little toothbrush and she taught, Kristen, my girls, how to do that. So we all kind of do that. So that's good. That's
Yeah. It's perfect.
Aw.
So Pat, how did you come up with this idea? Like, tell us about that.
Well, my business originally was not embroidery, quite honestly.
Okay.
My business started when I had Cappy, and I bought a saddle, and I didn't find a saddle cover that wasn't out of polyester. And I wanted something natural.
Yeah.
So I started making my own saddle cover. And that's how my business actually started because everyone was saying, where did you get your saddle cover and whatnot? And that's how my business started. So it started with saddle covers, helmet bags. And then everyone would say, do you embroider? And I said, no. Well, after people asking me all the time, can you embroider? I finally said, you know what, this is something that I'm going to have to do if I want to cater to my customers. And then, so it started with that. And then it expanded that my customers wanted saddle pads. So I started with Wilkers, seeing they were in my own backyard. And actually, next year, I'm going to be expanding the pads to 2 other manufacturers as well.
Okay.
And we're starting to have pads also in inventory, so my turnaround time will be a lot faster.
Yeah, that's
COVID
awesome.
COVID has really done a number as far as that is concerned. And I just, usually my customers would wait about 2 to 3 weeks for their pads. And of course, that was dependent on how fast Wilkers would be turning their product line over. And now, again, because of COVID and always trying to improve my business, I decided about a week ago to have 2 other manufacturers that I can't say today what they are.
It's a secret.
Well, I haven't signed anything official yet. I've been in talks with them. But they're both one is from Europe and
Exciting.
So we'll see.
So stay tuned.
Right, stay tuned.
You'll know. Yeah, I will definitely be announcing it hopefully the middle of January. So we'll have
That's so cool.
Yeah, so we'll have 3 manufacturers, and they're all very different. Even though it still be hunter jumper, dressage, eventing, they all have very different characteristics from one another. So
Nice.
So can I ask you? You must have. I mean, you sew obviously, and that's how you started. What was it like going from sewing to embroidering? Because the machines are so. That looks very
intimidating
extensive
to me. Very intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, I think the worst thing is you're scared actually to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Because when you make a mistake, you could, in theory, unstitch everything and redo it. However, I'd never like that because you would see all the needle in it. And I would never feel comfortable in sending that to a customer. So I would just throw it away and start again with another pad. So you learn really fast what to do and what not to do. And there's a lot of praying when you put it on the machine, and you go through your checklist and you make sure that everything is done. But I love it. I mean, it's very easy to do. There's just a lot of thought process that you have to go through. There's a lot of rules as to where you need to place your embroidery and whatnot. And there's a lot of embroiderers out there that get paid, but they do a terrible job, unfortunately. And the customer doesn't know any better. But they still have to pay for their products. I use, for the most part, American threads, and I use German threads, so that's expensive. I use the top of the line needles from Japan, so that then again my cost is higher. And then I use a stabilizer. If you see on the back of the pad that you have, it's what you call a cutaway, and at first you feel it in the back of it. It's kind of sticky, but once you wash it, it becomes very soft and pliable. And that is the top of the line stabilizer. And what happens is that with time, your threads will never move because of that stabilizer. And there's some people that don't use stabilizers, which is really not good. There's people that use a less expensive stabilizer. So, when you do all of these things, you really want to make sure that your end product is really the best quality.
Right, exactly, quality.
I mean, and your pad, when you think about it, I mean, that pad is $58.95. Now it's obviously not the top of the line, but it's still, a middle of the road expense that you have, plus the embroidery. And you want to keep that pad for as long as you can. And there's no reason why, if you take care of your pads, that they should not last you 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's all these little things that you really, I've taken classes. I've really honed in on my craft as to, what is the best thing that I can do for as far as an output of quality is concerned. So I'm certainly not the cheapest embroiderer on the market. That I am not. But I feel that the end result of my products, speaks for itself, and everything is done customizable to what you want. So whatever colors that you want, whatever design that you want, everything is customizable from your design to the pad that you would like to have.
I always feel like you really do get what you pay for, so you've got to consider what for different things that you do. But for something like this, for show quality, beauty, and something that's long lasting, you want it to last. And if you're going to buy a really good saddle pad, you want your embroidery to be beautiful. So are the saddle pads like your number one choice that people, is that where you see a lot of people, or you have other things as well too? What do you feel are like your most popular things that people have you embroider?
Yeah. So, like I said, I had mentioned before, I used to do the saddle covers and the helmet bags and whatnot. And I've really honed in on exactly what I wanted to do. And I would say my number one seller is what you have on your table.
Okay.
And then the number two seller is the Ogilvy show pad. And what's great about that is that, of course, you can get whatever size that you want at your local tack shop. The difference here with me is that I can actually customize it to your saddle. So if you have an Antares, you give me all of the information on your saddle flap, and then I turn around and give that to Wilkers, and they will custom make exactly to your saddle. So it's all these little differences, I guess, between me and your local tack shop or whatnot. And it's exactly the same price that you would pay, whether it's from me or through your tack shop. I don't increase the price whatsoever. It's just, I like for my customers to have something specifically for them.
And
Custom doesn't always have to be expensive.
Yes. You may not be able to mention names, but you work with a lot of large writers, very, very big writers and that type of thing. Can you talk a little bit about that maybe? You don't have to mention names if that you shouldn't. That's okay. But, some of the different avenues that it's taken you down with the writers.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very lucky and fortunate to have Tori Colvin as our ambassador. Tori's been with me for 2 years now. And it's funny because a lot of people ask me, what kind of person is she really? And she is really as lovely as you would think that she is. I saw her again this year at Wellington. I'm sorry, not this year. No, yes, this year I did. Sorry, time flies.
Yeah.
I saw her in Wellington, and she works hand in hand with her mother. And I got to tell you, they are all about the horses and the well-being of their horses. And she's just a very quiet, a very shy person, and a very hard worker too. So I hope to be working with her for many, many years. I work a lot with writers. I work with IEA teams, IHSA teams. I'm branching a little bit more with manufacturers as well. So with Triple Crown Feed, Platinum Performance, I've done their pads. I've done work for Grayson, Equine Research Foundation. I work a lot. Yeah, it's slowly but surely growing. I really want to work with both the writer and also with companies that there's no limit as to what we can do. And I just would like to expand the business as much as possible.
Nice. Now,
So
go ahead.
when you were in Wellington, do you take your machines with you? Are they portable? Can you make things while people are at the shows?
So when I was in Wellington, I was actually doing a horse show in Venice. And so I went there on Monday where I knew, Tori would be there. And I wasn't selling. So that was one of the few times that I actually brought my machines down and I would do everything at the show. I don't really like doing that too much, only because, the machines are quite fragile and you have to be careful because they can get out of calibration very fast. And also with the dust and the dirt.
I was going to say dust. I'm sure doesn't help one bit, especially at a horse show. Yeah.
So you really, really have to be careful. So I generally don't like bringing them.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, that's what I do.
So how long would it take you to this was a new logo for you, of course, if we were returning, you'd probably have like that, I suppose,
image.
Yes. But how long does it take you to kind of from setup to embroidering to do one? And how many can you do, if someone puts in a request, what's a larger order and how long does it take you to get through that?
Well, it really depends. For your pad, it would take about, I would say, a week to 2 for me to get the pad in from Wilkers. The moment I get the order, I send your logo automatically to get digitized. That takes a couple of hours. And then I do a quality assurance where I run through your logo to make sure that it's nice, that I like the size, that I'm happy with the stitching, because I do a lot more underlay also. So it's not a flat embroidery if you want, because sometimes you can see it's 2-dimensional, because there's actually in some places there's like 3 layers of threading that's involved. So after I run through your logo and I like what I see and that's approved, then I usually send my customers a sample of their logo with the thread colors, make sure that they're happy with that, with the trim. Because there's some people that are just not visual. They just can't imagine it in their head. So I show them, I do all these little extra steps just to make sure
Yeah.
that everything is going smoothly.
Yeah.
So once they see that and they like that, you know, an order can take 3 weeks at most. I mean, your logo, I think it took maybe half an hour to do,
Wow.
20 minutes, you know, around there. It depends on the logo, the size, how intricate it is, how many colors it is, how many times the machine has to go from one area to the other. But yeah, I mean, I can fulfill 1,000 order pads, 3 weeks, or you know, it's really, yeah, it's
Now,
fun.
do you do things with also like, oh, I'm trying to think, wraps and things like that? Do some people have everything customized for them?
I do leg wraps, and I also do standing wraps. Unfortunately, my vendor for my standing wraps, again because of COVID,
Yeah.
he seems to be having a harder time. He's out of California, to turn around and to give the products on a timely basis. So I had to put him on hold for a bit. But yeah, I definitely do that along with the Nobos and the quilted wraps too. And again, that is completely customizable as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a piece of advice you would give a new business person?
What you think your business will originally start at may not be how it ends. And I never thought that. I'll be honest with you. I never thought. I thought I was good to go with the sewing, and it just, you know, you got to listen to your customers. Your customers will tell you what they need and what they want, what they're looking for. So just be open to change and to listen more than you talk.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Yes. So when you order these, then you order whatever color the customer wants. Then, I mean, are there saddle pads in different colors and the leg wraps? Like if they have the colors for their barn, you know, is that, does it take a little longer to get colors and that type of thing?
Nope.
No. Wow.
Nope. You just tell me and I'll do it.
Wonderful. Wow. Wonderful. What's your most intricate, like what becomes intricate when you're doing the sewing? What is a little tougher to do? Is it this little tiny detail, or is it colors within the logo, or their, not their logo, but their name, or
Actually, you know, the most intricate, I actually pulled it out, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's this
That's right.
one.
Wow.
Yes.
And
Oh
this
my.
one, I don't know if you can see it. It has
Yes.
little circles in it.
Yes. Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, it was crazy. And it was my customer. Oh, I love it. It was my
So
customer.
pretty.
Yeah, it was my customer who said, "Do you do lions?" And I'm like, "No, but I'll do it."
Wow.
And I said to her, "Do you have anything in mind?" And she's like, "Well, I have something." And I'm like, "Well, send it to me." So she sent me her PDF of that. And I said, "Well, give me a day and I'll work on it." And she's like, "Okay." And it was exactly that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was long. That took me about an hour. I really slowed down the machines because of all the circles and there's different stitching patterns and whatnot. And then I chose the colors based on, you know, what her original design was. So yeah, that was pretty neat. She was excited about that.
Wow.
That I have to say is my most intricate one that I've ever done.
Do you have favorites that you've done? Like even do you do initials, or is it more
I
of,
do.
you know, yes.
No, I do. I do pretty much anything that you can think of. I have to say, and this is not because it's Tori's, but I have to say, I love Tori's that has her signature and then her name underneath that, and then the horse's head in between her first and last name. I don't know if you saw that one. And I love that one because it really shows her personality and her style. And that's what I'm trying to get people to just get out of their comfort zone and just to think of what do they want to show, anything that has to do with their horse or their horse's personality. I've done dragons because their horse, that's what they call their horse. It's crazy. But it's trying to get out of that being very cookie cutter,
Yes.
traditional kind of way of going.
Be a little daring.
Slowly but surely, people are starting to come out of their shell. I've done a whale for a lady that's what she wanted to have on her pad. I've done a shark for one of my customers because her thoroughbred would nip her all the time, so she would call it a shark. It's all these little things to just come out, and that's one of the things that I keep coming back to. Tori, obviously it's her logo, but it's just I loved it. It was so individual to hers that I really would like for people just to think outside of the box and just go with your favorite color. Go with something that's just not what you would see every day on a pad. Everyone can have initials. Everyone can have a diamond. It's just
the diamond.
I just want the individuality to come out, really.
Yeah. And is for showing, I don't even know anymore because I haven't done it for so long. Do some people try to keep it a little more simplistic, or does it not matter for showing?
Well, for my jumpers, those are the ladies that are doing these different designs because they are not limited. They can do whatever they want in the jumper arena. In the hunter, it's very, very different, and they will do their traditional show pads all in white. There's no embroidery on there whatsoever. Right. But then the saddle pads and the baby pads for the hunters also, that they're just doing for schooling shows, or if they want to hack, they can do whatever they want, really. Of course, there's a lot of trainers, though, that are very particular and that they don't even want to have crazy things. Even simplistic. Even if it's just for a lesson or whatnot, they'll say, not doing that. But it's the best of both worlds, really.
Nice.
Well, it's a way to really show off your personality, like you said.
Exactly. It's just like jewelry or your clothing or whatever. You wanna bring your personality out.
That's right.
So if someone would like to purchase one of your saddle pads or find you on social media, what do they look up?
Yeah, so they can do one or two things. They can either go on my website at so-southern.com, and it's S-O, not S-E-W, but S-O. They can also call me if they want. I had a customer this morning that didn't know what color would look best on his thoroughbred, and he didn't know anything, and he just wanted to talk. Yeah. And I'm always happy to do that too. So you can always call me. And then you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram.
And LinkedIn. That's how we met. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So there's different ways for you to reach me, but I love, any way that I can help my customer, I'm always happy to do so. And there's some people, like I said, that just, they can't picture it and they just need some hand holding. And I understand it's very hard for some people to order a pad online and they don't know where to go.
Yes.
And they don't know how to scan. So sometimes just calling just makes it a whole lot easier for them.
It does. Yes. I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll enter our next segment, Canter Banter.
This podcast is brought to you by Ramm Horse Fencing and Stalls, the one-stop shop for your horse farm. Ramm is family-owned and operated and has been in business for over 30 years. We welcome you to call in and speak with an expert about your next project today at 866-653-8984. Again, that's 866-653-8984. Our next segment, Canter Banter, is brought to you by Ramm Horse Fencing and Stalls, the one-stop shop for your horse farm. Ramm is family-owned and operated and has been in business for over 30 years. We welcome you to call in and speak with an expert about your next project today at 866-653-8984. Again, that's 866-653-8984.
So what I wanted to share with you was how I got my name so Southern.
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
that, how you came up with that. I wondered, yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is in 1996, we immigrated to the U.S. from Canada. And we landed in Memphis. And I quickly realized the Southern way was very different from the Canadian way. And so there was a couple of examples that I remember so vividly. One of them was when my daughter went to pre-K in her class, and you had to go and register your child and whatnot. And they were asking me for, my information, my number and all of that. So I literally tore up a piece of paper and started writing it down. And the lady on the other side of the desk goes, "This is not how we do it in the South." And she would go, "This is how we do it in the South." And what it was a calling card with her name and her email address and her telephone number. Oh, dope. So I called my girlfriends back up in Toronto and I said, "You won't believe this. Now you have to have a calling card because that's the proper way of doing it in the South." So my girlfriend Eleonora would say, "Oh my God, that's so Southern." a little time after that, I saw all the babies had bloom. First of all, I didn't even know what a bloomer was, but I saw the bloomers and they had their initials on there. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I would call my girlfriends up again. I said, "You won't believe what they do down here in Memphis. They have bloomers with initials on them." And they would say, "Oh my God, that's so Southern." So that's how my name for my business started. I really realized that in the South, they really, whatever I thought of in the past, they just up the ante that much more. So that's how my business name came to be. It's so Southern.
That's so cute.
That is so cute.
That's a good way. That is a good name too. And I did wonder when I saw it, how did she come up with that? So
I know.
it's so cute.
So it's crazy. It's hard to pick a business name, and I've thought about it many times to change it. And then I thought, you know what? It is what it is.
No,
That's
it's
right.
perfect.
It's crazy because even I remember vividly when I went to an outdoor concert. Well, in Memphis, what they do, you have these tables. People would bring in their linens, they would bring in their china, they would bring in their silverware. Like everything is just amped up. It's just, it's a very different way. Oh yeah, some of them would bring candelabras, some of them would bring floral arrangements. It was crazy, but the Southern way and the Southern hospitality is just, it's something I've never experienced, quite honestly.
It sounds spectacular, actually. It sounds like it would be a wonderful day.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's fun. I've learned to grow and adapt. So yeah. So and you'll see a lot of like when you received your pad, I make sure that your pad is already gift wrapped, and because it's all these little extra touches you expect to have, as opposed to a plastic bag that's just thrown in and there you go. So I just really try, to make it, even if it's just for you, it's a gift to you from you. Just to have that little extra attention.
Well, it was so much fun to get it. We were just so overjoyed that you sent it to us. And we will be taking pictures and showing you more so, with our horses and putting it up on our social media. So, but thank you so much. That was so kind of you. It came just absolutely beautifully done. And I would encourage people to look you up if they're looking for any kind of embroidering or monogramming with any of their horse appointments. So
thank you. Appreciate that.
All right. We hope you enjoyed listening to our podcast and encourage you to share with all your equestrian family and friends. You can tune into the Late Night Riders podcast show every Friday night. Each episode will be uploaded exclusively to YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all of our latest shows. Do you have a topic you'd like us to discuss? We want to hear from you. You may email us at podcast@rammfence.com or feel free to leave a comment below. Thank you again for listening.